Hey, this is Brian coming to you from our showroom in Montgomeryville, PA to chat about Focal's latest release, the HiFi Bluetooth ANC headphone, the Bathys. If you haven't seen in my previous videos, I'm a headphone enthusiast. Here are most of my headphones: wired, wireless, in-ear, on-ear, over-ear, ANC, true wireless, etc. Surprisingly, they're all closed back. When I travel, I always have backups, because the one time I didn't, I was the guy who bought a set from the vending machine in the terminal. I tend to have dedicated headphones for certain tasks, so they'll all get used and not just sit around collecting dust. I'm always on the lookout for the next good pair of Bluetooth ANC headphones. I was recently out in Dallas for CEDIA, and I was at a dinner with Focal. Worldwide Stereo has a great relationship with them, and our sales staff has had first-hand experience on the construction of their world-class speakers and headphones when they had their opportunity to visit their factory in France. We were chatting about how much I love the new Utopias after my last video. They asked if I had heard the Bathys yet, and was told that I needed to get my hands on them. They were very proud to talk about everything that went into them, and even shared some good nuggets of information that I haven't seen in other reviews yet. I even got the okay to talk about them, but that's for later. The Bathys aren't Focal's first foray into Bluetooth headphones. I've owned their first pair, the Listen Wireless, since they came out in 2018. I used them as my traveling headphones before I got a pair of ANC ones because they covered my ears so well that it drowned out the noise and they sounded great. I was curious to see what kinds of improvements they've made after such a long period of time, especially in technology years. Before we go further, I've said Bathys a few times now, and you might wonder why that was chosen and if I'm saying it right. I'm from the Philadelphia area, so I still struggle saying water correctly. Bathys is short for bathyscaphe. The bathyscaphe is a vessel that was designed to go deeper than submarines. They're meant to reach the deepest depths of the ocean where it's calm and absolutely silent. Focal chose the name to match the sound characteristics that the Bluetooth headphones they've been developing for the past 3 years can achieve with their noise canceling. Also, Focal is introducing the Bathys as the first HiFi Bluetooth active noise canceling headphone. Compared to my Listens, the Bathys are a big step ahead in all the categories that are important to me: comfort, clarity, quiet, and style. They traded in the folding design for the lay flat design and the plastic construction to a mixed metal assembly, which we'll get into a little later. I'm excited to go over all the details with you about how the Bathys are built, what they compare to, how I tested them, etc., etc. But if you want to skip around, we have the video chaptered out, much like our other ones, so you can choose your own adventure. First, let's look at the box that they came in and their carrying case. You can see from the packaging here, the Bathys are smaller than what a standard headphone from Focal would be. For a point of size comparison, here's the travel case for the Celestis versus the Bathys. The headphones aren't much smaller, but the case is adjusted for traveling. There's room inside here for the cabling if you're going to use a USB-C or analog connection, and this little mesh area is perfect for your additional accessories, like these headphone DACs. As an avid traveler, I'm glad to have a good option for carrying my headphones and DACs. When I travel, especially by plane, I have a minimum of 2 pairs of headphones, in-ear and over-ear, and 3 DACs, one for my phone, iPad, and computer. I have a bag specifically for my headphones and accessories. It's this guy here. And comparatively to the Bathys carrying case, it's about the same size and footprint of my bag. The only thing is, I probably won't put snacks in the case. I mentioned these a little earlier, but I don't want to skip past everything that comes in the box. The Bathys come with a sturdy carrying case, an 1/8" analog cable, and a USB-C cable. There's also a great manual with an infographic on how the buttons are used. They do not come with an 1/8" to 1/4" adapter for a HiFi system, a nod to these being meant for travel. When you're charging the Bathys, Focal suggests using a 2000 milliamp 5-volt charger. This is also not included in the box. I will say that while testing the Bathys, I barely had to charge them. They're rated for 30 hours with ANC Bluetooth, 35 hours in DAC mode, and a whopping 42 hours in DAC mode. I couldn't get it confirmed, but there's a fair chance the battery life is so long in DAC mode because your device will power the DAC and the battery will power the amplifier. Now let's look at the headphones themselves. Focal headphones are a statement piece. They stand out visually just as much as they do audibly. The Bathys are fashionable and beautiful. A great detail is on the ear cup. Here you'll see the Focal logo. When the Bathys are turned on, the LED driver will illuminate around it, which makes them stand out. A solid light means you're connected and ready to go, and if it's blinking, it's in pairing mode. It's not just an aesthetic design, but a functional one as well. If the light is too much or you're on a late night flight and you don't want to be a beacon in your seat, you can dim it or turn it off in the Focal Naim app. The Bathys are a black, silver, aluminum, and magnesium construction and have been designed to share the same aesthetics of their fellow Focal closed-ear headphones like the Celeste or the Stellia. While designing the Bathys for travel, they had a target weight of 350 grams, so components were designed and decided on specifically for that point. For the sound, they chose to invest in magnesium for the driver, and then they used aluminum for the mechanical construction. Before I move on, a nice part about the ear cups is they are replaceable. They snap right off and can be renewed if they lose their luster. The Bathys are tuned to the Focal sound, so they naturally are dynamic. They reproduce a nice full sound, and when the bass hits, it's present but not too boomy. You can listen to them for hours at end without feeling your ear fatigue. However, you don't have to listen to them loud to enjoy them. Focal headphones are constructed to look as good as they sound, and the Bathys are no exception. You'll also see the indicator here for the left or right. It's a slight gradient difference, so it's hard to see, for me at least. You can also make sure the Focal Flame logo is facing forward or the single button ear pad is on the left to know the orientation of the headphones. Surprisingly, good sound isn't always number one when people are choosing headphones. Comfort is a large part of the decision. Luckily, these Bathys sound great and sit very comfortably on your head. I've worn them for hours and they don't weigh you down over time and they don't feel constricting. The leather ear cups are deep and are like little pillows on your ears. The adjustable yoke makes it easy so they fit on your head. The headband is a mix of leather on the top and microfiber on the part that's going to sit on your head. Let's explore the buttons on the Bathys so you know what you're using to control them. On the right ear pad are where most of the buttons are located. My favorite thing that Focal did was adding a physical switch to choose between on and off. I hate having to wonder if I did the right button pressing, holding combo to make sure my headphones are on, or waiting to see if I remember to charge them. This is also how you switch between Bluetooth/jack and DAC modes. Click it over the DAC and the USB-C connection here can be connected to your device of choice and you're ready to go. If you switch it to off while the USB-C is connected, it will switch over to charging mode. Remember, like I said earlier, Focal suggests a 2000 milliamp charger. If you're going to connect to a standard headphone amplifier, you'll use the 1/8 inch analog input here and then you're in jack mode. Just make sure your switch is set to on. I did test it with my traveling DACs and didn't see the additional need compared to the quality of the DAC mode, but I always suggest experimenting to see what will work for you. Here is the volume up and volume down, and in the middle is a multifunctional button. Press and hold it for 4 seconds and you'll put the Bathys in Bluetooth pairing mode. While listening to music, a single press will play or pause, a double press will skip to the next track, and finally, a triple press will skip back a track. If you're receiving a phone call, a single press picks up the call or ends the conversation. Press and hold it for 2 seconds when a call is coming in and you'll ignore it. I feel I must point out there is not a mute button for volume or a microphone mute for voice calls. To turn the volume down, you need to repeatedly press the down button. It will not go down if you press and hold it. The button here is designated to call your voice assistant of your choosing. Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, or the voice assistant of your phone like Siri or Bixby. Maybe a future firmware upgrade could turn this into a microphone mute if you don't want to use it as a voice assistant. That's the best part about headphones with accompanying apps. The future is unwritten. On the left ear pad, there's a single button which is for ANC. I like that the ANC sound modes are by themselves. A single press will toggle between transparency mode and ANC mode. A press and hold for 2 seconds will switch you between soft mode or silent mode, or you can switch it in the Focal Naim app. Most importantly, what Focal worked on so diligently is making sure changing modes doesn't change the signature sound. Focal wants to deliver the same sound no matter what mode you're in. It is not an instant changeover between modes. If you're on a phone call, you will not hear the other person for 1 or 2 seconds when switching modes. Time it right and you won't lose a spot in your conversation. I did find that transparency mode felt the most natural when chatting in a quiet setting. I did change the ANC modes for calls when it was noisy around me so I could focus on the caller, but I did lose the sense of my voice's volume. It feels like I'm yelling when I have it on, so I didn't use it a lot. The closest ANC I would compare it to would be the Sony 1000XM4s. As for call quality, those speaking with me did score the clarity high, with one giving me a 9 out of 10. Swapping between headphones in a call, I did notice that people sounded a lot better on the Bathys than they did on my in-ear ANC pieces. And for those that like to know even the most minute detail, I also found that ANC will continue to work when you're in DAC mode and in jack mode. Not all ANC headphones that offer additional connection do this, and this is a selling point for me. Let's jump into that Bathyscape and do a real deep dive into the development and technology behind the Bathys. As with their other best-of-class headphones, the drivers are designed and engineered in Saint-Étienne, France, which is southwest of Lyon. The drivers are built in the Focal lab and quality tested in France. The Bathys use a 40mm aluminum and magnesium driver and has a frequency range of 15 Hz to 22 kHz. You'll notice that all of Focal's headphone drivers are 40mm. They just use a different mix of metals and a different motor structure based on the performance level of the headphones. And the reason behind this comes from their years of manufacturing car audio tweeters of the same size and utilizing the same equipment. Many people want to compare the Bathys to the special edition Radiance headphones for where they think the sound should be similar, but I'm going to go with an active product like their Celestis. You'll see the similar type of driver used in the Celestis headphones as the Bathys, but the Bathys have a smaller motor structure, so they won't get as much excursion as the Celestis. That's also why the distance inside the ear cup is different between the two. The Bathys are not as deep because they don't go as low as the Celestis, but the Celestis aren't made to travel, even if they have a case for it. A very interesting thing the Bathys are doing, which I didn't hear talked about in any of the other videos that have come out so far, is something I find fascinating, while other audio purists might feel is sacrilege. The Bathys cross-feed a little of the right audio into the left ear and vice versa. If you perform an audio analysis, you'll see a dip at about 900 Hz during their playback. If you didn't know that this was a feature, you'd say it's a problem if you look at a graph. This crossfeed allows for the headphones to feel more natural because when we listen to speakers, we will naturally hear the left speaker in our right ear and not just our left. Like I said, I think it's fascinating and I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. But I digress. Let's talk about setting the Bathys up for success. Burn-in is a thing and they're a little different than the Celestis that would need 100 hours to enter into their peak. The Bathys motor structure is different, so they're only rated about 50 to 100 hours to get warmed up. You could run tracks designed to be dynamic and go from 20 Hz to 20 kHz. I included one in my playlist I used for testing them, which is linked below. But honestly, just wear them and listen to them. Nothing sucks out of the box and they'll only sound better the more you use them. Technologically, the Bathys are Bluetooth 5.1 with multi-point, meaning it can connect to multiple devices to pick up a call from your phone and music from your computer. And they've moved to some of the latest Bluetooth codecs. Codecs are an important part of the conversation, and the Bathys have the standard SBC connection, which is universal among Bluetooth headphones, AAC for iPhone connectivity, and aptX, as well as aptX Adaptive for Android devices, with aptX Adaptive being capable of up to 24-bit 96 kHz sources. If you're hoping that these would have LDAC capability, I'm sorry to say it's not available. I will say I was impressed at the distance I got with the Bathys. They're rated for 15 meters and I was able to leave my iPad in my third floor apartment and wear them to walk my dog. Normally, I wouldn't be so far away from my source device, but I needed to know how far they'd go. The Bathys have 8 microphones for their active noise canceling and they can be used for phone calls or virtual meetings. There are 4 per ear cup, 1 for Bluetooth, 1 for ANC, and 2 are set inside the ear cup to monitor the output of the headphones to reduce the total harmonic distortion per ear cup. It seems like they're using the ear cup microphones to actively adjust themselves. Rad, right? Another important aspect of choosing a good Bluetooth headphone is call quality. With the Bathys, your voice is very clear. The receiver still hears a little bit of background noise from your environment, but you will come across very well. The Bathys don't have the extraneous bells and whistles that you get if you were shopping for a purely ANC Bluetooth headphone. They won't stop playing when you take them off or a quick change to transparency mode, nor are there special presets based on location used. Focal was making sure that they were coming to market with a sound that would astonish you with ANC. But they're more than just Bluetooth headphones. Focal went one step further by creating a DAC mode for the Bathys. The DAC mode will let you directly connect the Bathys to your phone or computer via USB-C cable to listen to music up to 24-bit 192 kilohertz. The DAC mode really brings the wow factor. It's impressive how much more you can get out of the Bathys. If you want to go even deeper, the Bathys also have a jack mode. They're a triple threat. Focal included an 1/8-inch stereo connection to allow you to connect them to a standalone headphone amplifier. This lets you attach them to devices that might do a higher quality DSD file or maybe your esoteric tube headphone amplifier. Focal wanted to make sure they weren't just making one of the best Bluetooth headphones on the market, but they wanted to make sure the Bathys didn't disappoint if you went deep into listening to them. Let's go a little deeper into the Focal Naim app. Focal has simplified the app experience. Not too many operations to get overwhelmed by, just the most important selections. You'll be able to update the firmware, see the type of Bluetooth connection you have. You'll be able to adjust the light output of the LEDs, either on, dim, or off. You can also adjust the EQ. There are only 2 presets, but Focal also offers a 5-band EQ to create a custom preset. For testing out the Bathys, I mostly had them connected via Bluetooth and in DAC mode for music and movies. While testing, I used the new Rune Arc app to stream my Qobuz playlist as well as access some of my locally stored high-resolution files. I wanted to take the Bathys out into the world since they're built to travel, and the Rune Arc app is designed to roam with access to all my music. At the same time, I'm able to double check the technical output to make sure I'm getting the high-resolution audio streams while I'm out and about. I did reuse the playlist I had created for the Utopias, but I did add a track I like to listen to when evaluating headphones. It's from the Gaslight Anthem's debut record, Sink or Swim. In a song, Coulda Been a Contender, at 1 minute and 47 seconds, Brian Fallon softly sings, "I sang them blues to you," which gets lost if you're not paying attention or underwhelming with just okay headphones. The Bathys let the line shine with crisp detail where otherwise it would have been hidden. I also liked listening to Seyu George's rendition of Life on Mars from the Life Aquatic soundtrack. I felt it was a little apropos. It's a very raw recording and doesn't have any polish. There are better recordings of this, but this version feels like it's recorded with a single microphone trying to capture a moment. The detail you can hear as his fingers strum the guitar and slide across the strings as he changes notes feels like you're with him playing and not a sterile studio environment. The Bathys reproduced the song so well. When I was listening to it again to prepare for this video, I stopped trying to write about it and I just sat and listened. It made me think more about, was I moved by the music or by the moment? I liked that little escape. I like to go beyond trying to critique something and move ahead to enjoying it. Finding that moment with the Bathys was nice. And this was in Bluetooth mode. It's amazing how much clarity still comes through when I wasn't even using them to their highest capacity. Now to move from music to movies. I connected the Bathys to my iPad to test how they would perform while watching videos, which is what I tend to do traveling. They sound good, but the Bathys are quieter while watching movies than listening to music. It must be the use of the SBC codec that reduces the output. I found it was the same using them with a Bluetooth connection in DAC mode and in jack mode with my HiFi Go Blue. I tried this out watching the Wembley Stadium scene from Bohemian Rhapsody. It feels like it's 2 clicks too low and just doesn't have the impact needed. I compared it to the soundtrack, which has the same tracks available, and there was a drastic difference in volume. Not a fatal flaw, but one I think is important to point out. Although I will say what the Bathys did that other headphones in the market do not do is when connected digitally and watching video, there was no issue with lip sync. Usually, when I connect an external DAC or even DACs built into headphones, they're not set to work with video. The Bathys took that problem out of the equation. And speaking of the DAC, it was nice to reduce my connections by jumping directly digitally. I still experience some noise from my phone with an external DAC, and reducing links in the chain was a benefit to my connection and enhancement to my experience. What did Coco Chanel say about removing one accessory? Well, it works with audio too. There is sometimes a desire to overcomplicate things, and I'm okay with moving some complexities from my life. I had a lot of fun experimenting with the Bathys. One of my favorite part of doing all of this is spending time with music. Music is somehow more than just sound, and I've spent the better part of 30 years connecting with it. It's the one thing I can depend on. So getting the opportunity to experience it in new and better ways is a gift. Thank you for joining me for a review of Focal's latest release, the HiFi Bluetooth ANC headphones, the Bathys. You can learn more about this online at worldwidestereo.com, or if you're in the area, you can stop by our showrooms in Ardmore or Montgomeryville, PA. We offer 60-day returns, free shipping on all orders, and we're authorized dealers for everything we sell. If you have any feedback or questions, leave them in the comment section below, or you can call or email us at any time. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. This is Brian from Worldwide Stereo. Thanks for tuning in.